Something stands above my bed at night. It doesn't walk. It doesn't pace. It doesn't leave. It only shifts its weight, slowly, deliberately, pressing down on the floor directly over my head, as if it's deciding how much of itself the house can hold. My name is Casper, and I moved into the cottage on Hazelwood Lane because the rent was cheap and the silence was advertised as a feature. It was a small 2-bedroom place with wood floors that popped and sighed with the weather. The first 2 nights were exactly what I'd paid for. Profound, empty quiet. On the 3rd night, I heard the first shift. I was reading in bed just after 11. It was a deep, groaning creak from the floorboards in the spare room directly overhead. Not a footstep walking across, but the sound of someone standing still, settling their weight. I froze, my book propped on my chest. The sound didn't repeat. I told myself it was an old house cooling down, and eventually I slept. Nothing happened for 4 days. I'd almost forgotten. Then, on a Tuesday, I came home from work late. The air in the living room was stale and cold, a pocket of chill that hung right in the center of the space, away from the windows. I walked through it to the thermostat, but the rest of the house was a normal temperature. As I turned back, I saw the armchair by the fireplace. The floral upholstery on the seat cushion was deeply depressed, as if someone had just risen from it. The indentation was perfect, the fabric still slowly creaking back into shape. No one had been in the house all day. I stood there for a long time, just watching the cushion. It did not reinflate fully. It kept a subtle, permanent sag. The next appearance was auditory. I was washing dishes, the radio playing softly. A thick, wet sigh breathed directly into my right ear. I dropped a plate. The sound wasn't in my head. It was a physical exhalation of air, close enough to feel the faintest disturbance against my skin. I spun, soapy water flying. The kitchen behind me was empty, but the air in the corner by the pantry door was visibly warmer, a heat haze, like over a radiator, shimmering in the shape of a person's upper body. I blinked, and it was gone, the temperature evening out. Its visits had no pattern. A week of peace, then 2 events in one night. I'd be watching television, and the sofa cushion beside me would compress with a soft whoomph, the leather groaning under a new, unseen weight. I'd feel the shift of the springs. Once, in the hallway, I heard the distinct, dry snap of a floorboard, breaking tension under a heavy footfall directly behind me. When I turned, there was nothing, but a faint, dusty imprint of a bare heel was visible in the thin carpet runner. The worst was the breathing. It never happened when I was in bed, safely under the covers. It happened in the mundane places. Leaning into the fridge for milk, I heard the slow, congested draw of breath from the dark space behind the door. Standing at the bathroom sink, brushing my teeth, a soft, rhythmic sigh would come from the empty shower stall, fogging the glass door with a brief, palm-sized bloom of condensation that faded over seconds. I stopped having people over. My friend Liam came by once, and we sat in the living room. He kept glancing toward the hallway. "You feel a draft?" he asked. I didn't, but the candle on the coffee table between us flickered violently once, as if jarred by a passing body, though neither of us had moved. Liam left early, making an excuse. The entity had a favorite spot, the top of the stairs, where the landing turned toward the spare room. I began to feel a persistent resistance there, a thickness in the air I had to push through, like wading through deep water. The temperature would drop 10 degrees in that specific 3-foot space. I started using the stairs quickly, my shoulder brushing the wall to avoid the center of the landing. One evening, I broke my own rule. I'd had a drink, just one, to steady my nerves. I stood at the bottom of the stairs and said, to the cold spot, "What do you want?" My voice sounded pathetic in the quiet house. For a full minute, nothing. Then, from the spare room at the top, a heavy, deliberate thud, not a footstep. The sound of 2 feet landing, together, from a small jump. A child's sound. The floorboards squealed in protest. A chill poured down the stairwell like invisible water. I didn't go up. Last night, I saw it. Truly saw it, not just its effects. I woke up parched at some dead hour. The digital clock was dark, a power blink. I walked to my bedroom door, opened it, and looked across the hall to the open door of the spare room, which I always keep closed. It was open, and in the doorway, silhouetted against the dim window light, it was sitting. It was in the rocking chair my grandmother gave me, which I'd stored in that room. The chair was rocking, gently. Not a frantic horror movie rock, but a slow, contented back and forth. The silhouette was solid, man-shaped but utterly devoid of detail, a cutout of deeper darkness. I could see the curve of its head, the slope of its shoulders, the way its hands rested on the arms of the chair, dipping them down with its weight. I heard the familiar groan of the cane seat, the whisper of the runners on the wooden floor. A specific warped floorboard under the chair shrieked once, on the forward rock. I didn't scream. I didn't move. I just watched it rock. It didn't turn. It didn't stop. It simply existed there, occupying the chair, filling the doorway. After a minute, or 10, I closed my door. The soft, rhythmic creak of the rocking continued through the wood. I got back into bed. I lay there listening to it until the first bird started, and the sound finally stopped. This morning, the spare room door was closed. The rocking chair was in the center of the room, facing the window, still. The warped floorboard beneath it is now permanently bowed, a shallow dip in the shape of the runner. I am writing this at the kitchen table. The sun is high. From upstairs, I just heard a single, solid creak, the sound of weight being carefully placed. It is waiting for the dark again, and so am I. The silence we share is no longer a feature. It is an arrangement,